Rivers is departing as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, that according to ESPN's Shams Charania.
This isn't really much of a surprise. Things have been trending this way for a couple of months. There's a lot of stuff that goes into stuff like this.
It is time for the Progressive NBA Snapshot here on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Day after Rory wins the Masters, back-to-back, 6th overall major, and one of 4 players all time to win back-to-back Masters titles.
Greatest European golfer all time.
And he was asked about that, and that does mean something to him, that moniker. I don't know where I just... This is amazing.
Where are you?
What just happened?
I don't know.
That was unbelievable.
You just went the invisible man on us.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
On the TV side, for those that are listening on radio, somehow my shot became an empty chair. Brilliant by our TV. I like this. I'm like a magician all of a sudden. This is awesome. Anyway, so... the NBA season comes to an end. Miami and Charlotte in one playoff game will get real big in playing games. CC saw Charlotte play last night. Orlando at Philadelphia. You got Golden State at the Clippers and Portland and Phoenix. Those are your play-in games. But Doc is out. Doc Rivers out in Milwaukee. Giannis spoke to Eric Name of The Athletic, a phenomenal reporter, as he was leaving, I guess, Philadelphia last night. And he was asked about his future, Giannis was, and he said, that's a very good question. I don't know. It's not up to me anymore. It's not up to me. We'll see. Let's just stop there. It's not up to him.
Hey, who the hell is it up to?
Well, okay, good question.
I'm asking you. I don't know. Who's it? If Giannis doesn't have any agency over his NBA future, and he's been the one that has floated the idea of considering playing somewhere else, over a year ago, I just don't understand with the way that things are trending in Milwaukee and the constraints that they have on roster construction. If winning matters to him, then it's clear and obvious what he should do. From the Bucks' perspective, I understand why they would never preemptively make the decision for Giannis by moving him, against his will if he wants to stay there and finish his career. But the reality is that both parties can't move forward by staying together. They need the divorce. They need to end things amicably and go their separate ways. But with Giannis being so ambiguous about his future and then punting or abdicating the responsibility that he has in terms of being able to steer his career where he wants to go in the twilight of his prime, I just think it puts a lot of unnecessary pressure on the Milwaukee Bucks in terms of how they navigate this offseason.
Yeah, this whole will they or won't they, I'm fatigued by it. And I think a lot of other people are. I don't know how they come back together. We've seen crazier things in sports, but this has been brewing for some time. He has been vocal about his frustrations, even as recently as a couple days ago and up until the end of the season when he's talking about how he has no control over his playing time. I just think that this is the end of the road for these two parties. And for Giannis to say that he doesn't have any control in the situation or any power in the situation, I don't know who he expects to believe that, because I certainly don't.
I think he's worked so hard to try to be the good guy, he may be becoming the bad guy. And that's unfortunate because he's not a bad guy in any way, shape, or form. Nobody is saying that. I mean, character-wise in the story, he was always the good guy. Is he right now?
No, he's not the good guy.
Is he turning heel?
It's the Dark Knight theory. Die and be a hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's what it is. He's staying in Milwaukee, and the fact that it's gone on so long and it's got so bad around him, a lot of people are looking at the common denominator, and it's Giannis. It's number 34. And I understand it. If he gives some clarity on what he wants, it allows the organization to plan what they need to do for the future. And in such a consequential offseason with such an important draft, knowing the assets that the Milwaukee Bucks have, there's a good chance that they can end up with a top half of the lottery draft pick. And that's consequential for this team, especially if they're going to have to reset with a new face of the franchise. I just wish that Giannis would tell them earlier in the offseason process so they can make informed decisions.
Well, and that's interesting you brought up the lottery. So this is where, now that we know details with the season ending, so the they get the lesser of their pick and New Orleans pick. Okay, so it's impossible, or the worse, the lesser, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's going to be a good pick.
It's going to be a good pick, but it cannot be the number 1 overall pick.
Yes.
Now, to go further, not that we didn't know this or see this coming, but Miami and Golden State, 2 teams that have been mentioned for Giannis, are both 10 seeds, which means if they lose the play-in, they are then also in the lottery. So if those are 2 teams that still have a shot at Giannis, they may have a lottery pick. In order to get a deal done in and around the draft or include this year's draft pick, they would then be moving him before they would offer him a full max contract extension, because his whole thing is, well, I haven't been offered that yet. He's really smart. It's illegal to offer that within NBA rules. You can only offer that on October 1st.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm going to stay. I don't know if they'll offer me. You know they would offer you.
He's a max contract player all day long. That's what it is.
But maybe he's trying to make it where they don't want to offer him a max contract anymore. Maybe
the Luka Doncic situation?
Or Jimmy Butler. Maybe he's trying to burn the house down a little bit and say, I don't want to get to October.
But why would you want to do that if Milwaukee's going to be a forever place for you?
Yeah.
Well,
and if you don't want to be the bad guy.
If that's going to be your home when it's all said and done, and everybody's going to identify that, because as you pointed out, Evan, he's the guy that built the Deer District.
Yes.
That exists because of Giannis. And it's a beautiful place. We were hosted there by ESPN Milwaukee. It's awesome. Like, that's his home. That's his sports home when his career is over with. When he goes into the Basketball Hall of Fame, it will be as a Milwaukee Buck no matter where he goes. And so you would think that there would be some reciprocity in terms of him wanting to do right by them as much as they want to do right by him.
Also, if he doesn't want to be the bad guy, why would he take that route? And Cece, you can speak to this obviously better than us. It is important to have a forever home in your sports career. It is important for a player of the caliber of Giannis to have a place that he can go back to that will always have that relationship. I mean, when we talk about Kevin Durant, that's one thing that feels incomplete about his career, is that even though he won with Golden State and had a great career there, that's the house that Steph built. There's so many other players on that team that feel like they have more of a stake in the foundation of the Warriors than KD does, even though he had that great chapter there. So for Giannis, like, you need this symbiotic relationship at the end of your career. And I'm sure that once this is all said and done and enough time has passed, however this goes down, those 2 will find a way to come back to each other, and it will be the warm and fuzzies because they won together. They reached the top of the mountain together. Giannis did a lot for the Bucks. The Bucks did a lot for Giannis. But right now, I don't think that he can exist in this gray area that he is trying to pin himself into. You can't not be the bad guy while also wanting to try to maneuver things behind the scenes so that you can get out. And he always constantly talks, too, about how communication is really important to him, that he's very big on communication. But it seems like this communication that we're seeing, or at least what we're getting, the breadcrumbs that we're getting through the media, it seems like he's being a bit passive aggressive. He needs to, if he is so big on communication, just be very clear and direct about what you want. And if it's not in Milwaukee, you need to let everybody know.
Progressive NBA Snapshot. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. Coming up, did one team in the NBA ask for it? We'll explain after I tell you about game day travel, bringing the excitement, which means Marriott, of course, the journey, the routine, the crew. That's why I book with Marriott Bonvoy, the official hotel partner of the NCAA and U.S. Soccer. It connects me to a portfolio of brands designed for how